Hello everybody, and welcome back to the Star Wars Expanded Universe, narrated by Disney, or from Lucasfilm, whichever way you slice it. Legends. I'm still getting over a cold, so if I cough or anything or sound weird, I apologize. But I wanted to get to the next video because I read Star Wars Republic, the comic book series, which was originally Star Wars, now redubbed Republic, issues 49 to 53, with some short stories and stuff in between there, and one-shots. So, 49 to 53, we've entered the Clone Wars era, and it's incredible. Everything about it, the art, the stories, it's all great. Issue 49 focuses on Quinlan Vos and what he's been up to. So with a growing separatist threat near the events of Episode 2, he's been undercover, trying to figure out the secrets of the Confederacy. Of course, he did not account for the events of the second book, the second movie. And so he feels really bad about all the Jedi that died on Geonosis. Issue 50 is the big 50th issue of the Star Wars Republic series. Sorry. And so with that, before that, we have Star Wars Tales 14, Tides of Terror. Usually I talk about how bad the Star Wars Tales is. I'm sorry. But this one was actually pretty decent. It's Aayla Secura and Kit Fisto on Kamino, as there's this treacherous person doing stuff to the clone troopers. It's a really short story, so if you want to know more, you'd have to read it. But issue 50 is the big issue. So there's 3 separate stories within the one issue. And all of it, absolutely fantastic. I'll talk about some of the things I liked. In spoilers, I don't have too much to say, but just so you know, overall fantastic. Issues 51 to 52. This is basically our big introduction to Dirge, Ventress, and Alpha, the clone. That's our huge introduction there. And that's all I'll say for that one without getting into spoilers. Dirge being the life form that is like a tentacle guy and can't die by normal means. But, may I add, Dirge is so cool. He has to be like number 2 bounty hunter of all time. Sorry. Jango's like 3rd. Boba Fett is number 1 because Dirge is so cool. Like, if Boba Fett didn't have the history that he had, Dirge might be number 1 for me. Dirge is so cool. Mace Windu one-shot. It does mention in this comic, in this Mace Windu one-shot, that it's been 3 months since Episode 2. So that's really interesting. Also, I forgot to mention that all of these stories are written again. Well, there's different writers, but the main one being John Ostrander, my boy, and Jan Duursema coming back for a good portion of the books, though she's not every single one of them. Some notable characters come back in the Mace Windu book, or in one shot. Sorry. And there's some good political and philosophical discussions in this book about the war, because you have a Jedi schism kind of forming, where you have a lot of Jedi who don't feel like they should join the war because it's not what Jedi are supposed to do in their eyes. And some of them saying maybe we should join the Confederacy because the Republic has gone evil, while others are like, we just don't want to get involved because we don't think that's our place. And it's a really interesting discussion that gets brought up. In Star Wars Insider, number 65, we have a short story called Pegliden Trade-Off by Aaron Olston, the writer of the Race Squadron series, and of Legacy of the Force, Fate of the Jedi, the Aaron Olston, this great man of stories. May he rest in peace. This focuses on an accountant. Yep. An accountant named Jerome, who's trying to evaluate whether the clones should be a thing that they put more money into, that they stop funding, you know, trying to benefit the cost of actually having this army. And it's all actually very interesting, and the stuff that they do with the character. I really like it. I really like what Aaron Olston does, and I think it's a really unique way of going about it. Like, how does the economic? I mean, it doesn't go like hard into it, but like, how does it affect the economy dealing with this huge galactic war? Though it quickly goes away from that kind of like angle, mostly focuses on the relationship between him and the clones. And then following up with that, we have in Star Wars Insider number 73, League of Spies, also by Aaron Olston. I don't have anything to really say about it. It was a fun continuation. I mean, you don't have to read the previous story to understand this short story, but it's a very fun short story with a bunch of fun characters, bringing back a character from, two characters from the previous short story with Aaron Olston. And it was all a lot of fun to read. And you know, there's a lot of short stories where I'm like, you know, you can read it, enjoy it, but it's like a skip. I do recommend these two stories. I think there's a lot of fun. So if you can find them, you should get them. Now, going back to the comics with Star Wars Republic issue 53. Sorry if you heard that. Going back to Star Wars Republic issue 53. Obi-Wan has just returned from a mission. Anakin looks concerned because Obi-Wan looks hurt. He's fine. He's just going to take some time healing. We get a recounting of the tale as they go to the funeral afterwards of what happened on this mission. Basically, the mission was to get an antidote to the poison gas we've been introduced to in the previous issues, which they do. They get the antidote. But every other Jedi on the mission, besides Obi-Wan, does not make it back. And so, it was a pretty decent issue. I enjoyed it. It explains why, you know, the gas thing probably won't be a threat moving forward because they have the antidote now. But yeah, it was a decent one issue. That's pretty much it, guys, without getting into spoilers. So, I'll say, overall, this new era of Star Wars is absolutely fantastic. Really love it, really enjoy it, really glad to be in the Clone Wars. Excited to see what else the Legends expanded universe of these events has to show us. Now, disclaimer, and I'm going to probably start saying this in all my videos. I don't know, I didn't say it now, probably because I'm sick and dying. The Clone Wars timeline is a convoluted mess, in large part because of Filoni's Clone Wars mostly. But there are some other things just within the Legends continuity because there's so much that makes it kind of hard to gauge where you should put everything. So when following my timeline, it's not the definitive timeline or anything like that. This part of the timeline, you're gonna have stuff that's different from like maybe Matt Wilkins or some other EU YouTuber you may watch. My timeline will not be the exact same as other people's timeline as I put preferences and stuff. Like as for the Clone Wars 2008 by Dave Filoni, because I can't just throw it out of Legends. Since it is Legends and canon, I have to find a way to make it fit. So pretty much all of the 2008 Clone Wars TV show will take place in the final year of the war and stuff like that. So just pre-warning that my timeline will not be the explicit same as maybe yours is or some YouTubers is. And if you want things in your way of going about it, then make your own timeline. But it won't be the exact same for me. Anyway, guys, that's pretty much it. If you don't want spoilers, now's your time to go. If you don't care about spoilers or you're a veteran, come. So for issues 49 to 53, Voss, as I said, he's been a spy. And Separatists want to attack Kamino. We find that out before the next issue. And then we get to issue 50. At the very beginning of the issue, before all the action comes in, we get this nice moment between Quinlan Voss and Obi-Wan Kenobi, as Obi-Wan's trying to deal with Anakin, because Anakin's acting a bit different than usual, because after the events of Episode 2, he slaughtered the Tusken Raiders, and that's changed him a bit. On the offset from that conversation, almost back to back, Aayla Secura is having a conversation with Anakin. So you have Quinlan Voss, who's now a master, talking to Obi-Wan, and you have Aayla Secura, who's now a knight, but well, Anakin's still a Padawan, but she's the former Padawan to Quinlan. So it's just nice to have that. We also get introduced to the ARC Troopers, and the ARC Troopers are really cool. They're a bit like the Commandos, but not exactly. But they're a bit more independent, and they're very cool. And of course, the ending to the 50 issue was really, really cool. Very, very nice. Issue 51 and 52, we get introduced to Dirge, as I said, to Ventress and Alpha, all really interesting characters. I didn't write down too much. It certainly is not for children. There's this one panel where you see a bunch of Gungans dead. That was some like rated R stuff. Like, that was intense, and I was surprised to see it. Of course, as I mentioned, gushing about Dirge. Dirge is such a cool villain. I love him. And we get to the Mace Windu one-shot. Here's the big character who returns. For those of you who've been following my channel for a while, you know that I read Legacy Comics with Cade Skywalker, and that there's an old Jedi he meets, that being Krook. And if you've gone to my prequel stuff, you know that there was a comic series I talked about called Jedi Council Acts of War that had that same character, but much younger. Here he's a bit older, and he's no longer a Padawan. He's now a knight, and that is Krook. Krook comes back in this one-shot comic with Mace Windu, and it's very cool to see him again. He's one of the Jedi that doesn't want to fight in the war. He did have a battalion. The battalion of the troopers died, and he just doesn't think his place as a Jedi should be in this war, which is very interesting. And again, the conversations that they have are really good. There's some other stuff that happens, like with the leader of this schism actually being a dark side user now. Ventress trying to frame Mace Windu, but all that really matters is the discussion on, should this war even be happening? Of course it shouldn't. But this war is being orchestrated by a Dark Lord of the Sith who's controlling both sides of the war. But it is interesting the points that the Jedi bring up, like, well, the Senate's kind of corrupt, and, you know, we're serving the Senate. Are we corrupted now? And all these things were very interesting discussions. And I don't have too much to mention about the short stories that I talked about, you know, other than the relationship that forms between the accountant and the clone troopers, which I thought was really nice, and the fact that he started giving them names, which is just always endearing to me. Like, no, you should be individuals. Get your own names. And then, of course, issue 53 brings back Ventress and Dirge, and we get to see all these Jedi just, like, wasted by these, you know, dark Jedi and bounty hunter. So, all very, very cool. But I hope you join me next time as we continue to explore the Star Wars Expanded Universe. Until next time, guys, may the Force be with you.